What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to this week's episode of the Sports Scramble podcast presented by Old City Sports Network. I'm your host, Chet, and I'm joined by all of my co-hosts this week with Tyler, Wade, and Jacob. How y'all doing tonight?
Pretty good. Who dat?
There we go. Some who dat right off the bat. How's our favorite Home Depot employee doing?
I'm alive. I had an opening shift today, so I'm a little tired. So I did get to watch the Saints a little bit, so I did watch that.
There you go. What about LSU Wade down there? He went to the LSU game. He's got a volleyball match coming up tomorrow. You feeling energized, ready to go?
Yeah, definitely feeling ready for tomorrow. We finally got a set win in volleyball, so baby steps. We didn't win the game. We lost 2 out of 3, but we won set number 1 convincingly, 21-9. So that was pretty good. And your boy was all in the sand, making dives left and right. My abs felt pretty sore the next morning, so good workout. And yeah, ready to go at it again tomorrow. Got a little bit of a live audience. I got Lyndon will be in town with his company, and Matt and Mallory are going to come up to visit and catch a little volleyball while they're at it. So we will see.
Put on a big performance tomorrow. We got listeners of the show ready to rock and roll with Wade.
Can't choke. So
he's diving all over the place. He's got his X Factor on.
The difference was I wore a tank top, so sun's out, guns out. You know.
There you go. You got more mobility with those huge biceps are restricted in your shirt. So you got to make sure
your Under Armour shirt was holding them back. So
exactly. So what's the opponent look like tomorrow night?
We're playing a team that's won 1 game and lost 3. We are 0-4, but very close to being 1-3. So should be pretty evenly matched. Our MVP, Elise, is out on a business trip, so we have a sub. So it kind of depends how that mystery player does. You know.
Now, if the mystery player does better than Elise, are you replacing your fiance with the better player?
My roster spot is safe though because it is co-ed and I'm the only guy. So
there you go. Yeah. So you know how to lock in that position, unlike some of these NFL players out there today may be looking for new jobs, aka the kickers. But we'll get into
especially special teams.
Yeah, special teams was rough this weekend. But yeah, that's we're looking forward to Wade's volleyball match tomorrow night. We'll have to get live takes from Lyndon and Chu from our listeners on what they think, if Wade's really just pulling our leg or if he's out there balling and these teams are just getting lucky bounces.
We might even get some video footage for the TikTok.
There we go. Yeah, the TikTok.
I was supposed to get some yesterday at the game, but slipped my mind.
You let us down. You're the TikTok manager, and you let us down.
Maybe next time. Then.
Speaking of the TikTok, like Wade said, we've got a new TikTok account, isn't it? It's just at Sports Scramble Podcast. Is that the handle?
Yep.
So we'll be posting clips from our live shows and mostly the debates of Tyler and Jacob yelling at each other. We'll figure out how to get them fired up this week. There's not much to disagree on. The Saints played great. LSU played great. We're all happy tonight. Penn State won. So it was an all-around good week for college football.
Yeah, Chet's just saying that because he went 4-0 in fantasy this week.
Well, it's not confirmed yet. It's the games are still ongoing, but a big bounce back from last year where I started out not winning like the first 6 games of this season. But we're in so many fantasy leagues. I was like, yeah, appreciate that, Tyler. Constantly checking out I got to check my work league. I got to check the podcast league. I got to check our friends league. I got to check the couples league. Like,
and conflicts of interest, like you need a guy in one league and then you're cheering against him for another. And then you like the guy because he went to LSU, but he's causing you to lose your matchup. It's like you just kind of got to let it play out.
Well, and that's what I've got Patrick Mahomes in our league, the big money league, but the guy I'm playing in our work league also has Patrick Mahomes. So it's great for me, but it sucked in there. But I somehow have a 40-point lead going into Sunday night in that league. So I'll take it and just ride with it, see what happens. But I guess we can kind of go around the room. How's everybody doing on their fantasy matchups so far? Tyler, what are your leagues looking like?
Well, I had a 20-point lead going into Sunday night. I have Mike Evans going currently, but it's going to come down to whatever Russell Wilson and Judy does on Monday night. So it's going to be a barn burner against Matty Ice Jones. So we'll see who takes the cake. But honestly, if I end up losing, I really don't care. I mean, I have Alvin Kamara and Jamar Chase. I mean, I would go like only 3-win season and spend $50 just to see those 2 players on my team.
Well,
that might be what you do. You are spending $50.
You were pretty happy with their performance today, though. I know Jamar had a few touchdowns. I
Yeah.
don't think Alvin got in the end zone, did he?
No, he only had
Alvin
6
kinda
fantasy
busted.
points, but it's all right. He'll bounce back.
How many receiving yards did he have today? Because I saw a prop bet.
I think he had 39 receiving
Okay.
yards today.
Yeah, there was a prop bet over under 29.5, and I was like, well, that's definitely an over until Jameis Winston was a little slow there to start off the first quarter. But they kind of got it second half and finally found old slant boy Michael Thomas, and we got it rolling. But Fudge, what's your fantasy teams doing this week? How many leagues are you in? I know the majority of us are in 4. You're just in the one.
I cannot take on any more. It's just too stressful, and I'm like one league and one league only. If it doesn't work out, whatever. I'm currently down. Well, it keeps changing every second. I'm down 18 points right now. My last 2 guys are playing. My defensive player, Micah Parsons, only has 1 tackle in the second right now. And I've got Leonard Fournette, so hopefully he can get in the end zone. They're in the red zone right now, so hopefully they might hand the ball off to him. So I don't know. You never know with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, but
yeah, you need playoff Lenny to be regular season Lenny and get rolling here. What about you, Wade? How's the fantasy teams looking?
1-3, not 3-1. I don't know if it's mirroring, but
it's mirroring on our side. But
Yeah,
that's
you're
okay.
3-1 on my screen, so it's fine.
1-3. Most likely, I might go 0-4, but the one win is in the Big Money League, which is my South Carolina Dynasty League. Getting that off to a good start. A little bit of a shaky start. I have the Joe and Jamar stack in that league, so that's fun to watch. I have the Louisiana Quartet with Leonard Fournette, Joe Burrow, Alvin Kamara, and Jamar Chase. So that's the bulk of my teams and points right there. So fun to watch those guys. I kind of got in a shootout with Chet, but kind of fell off.
It started with the shootout until Justin Jefferson touched the field. He just went off this week, putting up 40 for me. So I mean,
and my receiver had 2 points, so that was a mismatch. And then I got beat by my fiance, or currently losing to my fiance in our couples league. But she had a really nice day. She had 20 points out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I think 20 out of A.J. Brown and Jamar Chase. So pretty hard to beat there. Yeah. So just have to shake back next week.
And I just realized I said Justin Jefferson. I have him in a completely different league. That's the whole issue. I'm getting confused. I got all these leagues going on.
Yeah, Jacob has Jay Jettis.
Yeah,
I got Jay Jettis over here.
Yeah.
20,
looking at our league.
34.
Yeah. Looking at our league, I mean, Mahomes and Jonathan Taylor and Pittman were my big guys. And, of course, I didn't even have Cordell Patterson starting. So he's definitely going in the lineup next week. But that little fantasy football recap was brought to you from our friends over at Buffalo Bayou Brewing here in Houston. If you ever in the H-Town, you need to go check them out. They got all different types of beers. The Lighten Up's a good one. That's one I like to enjoy, especially when watching a football game. Helps you lighten up a little bit. And they got the best views in town and some of the best pizza. It was actually voted best pizza like in 2019, I think. Maybe wrong on that one, but it was voted best pizza one of these past years. It's pretty good. So if you're in Houston, check out our friends over at Buffalo Bayou Brewing Company. It's located in the Heights, just south of I-10. So, and if you're there, send us a picture on Twitter. Maybe I'll stop by, come see you, and enjoy a beer with one of our fans. So, but kicking off into kind of college football weekend, we had some big upsets. We had some almost upsets. Looking at you, Alabama, they didn't cover our spread. So our parlay this weekend was 1 for 3. The only one that hit was USC with the covering over Stanford. But we lost the Bama one since they only won by 1 point, and we lost the Florida one since Florida just straight out lost to Kentucky. So Tyler, what are your thoughts on that? I know you're a big gambler now. You and Jacob are hitting the parlays every weekend. They just can't seem to put the money on it.
Yeah, this one stung. We literally had 4 good games. All 4 of our teams covered. Mississippi State covered, Virginia Tech covered. Who else covered? There's just so many teams. But Alabama was the only one. We were literally for hours and hours trying to decide what 5th game you wanted to do. I said do you trust your boys Penn State to cover in Ohio? Well, they did. So I guess we should just put our money on Penn State. But yeah, it sucks. We went 4 out of 5. So I don't know. I'm losing hope
and
by the week.
it's shocking that Bama was the one that didn't
I
cover.
know.
Everybody took them as huge favorites, and they eke out a win in Austin. And I want to talk about the college game day experience now with Pat McAfee. What do y'all think about old Pat? Jacob, you like him on there? He brings a new energy to the show.
He brings a completely different flavor to college game day, and it is fantastic. He's more appealing to the college crowd, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, some youth in it, you know.
Like he's gonna get somebody like fired up. There's gonna either be an all out like rave out there just from Pat McAfee. Like he literally could be the only guy on stage and them not have a set for college game day, and he could be just there having the time of his life, and those people would be going crazy. So he's just an energy guy, and I think he fits well in there. I guess he's the youngest guy on that crew, so I think he's in it for the long haul. So
Yeah, he really embodies just the whole persona. I mean, he's wearing the tank top with the sports coat, the big gold chain, the huge belt buckle because they were in Texas. I mean, and just everything he said, it was like did he really just say that? And I mean,
Pat McAfee has no filter, and it is
all the guys on the show were just like cracking up. I mean, he had Kirk Herbstreit cussing accidentally, and he looked at Kirk and he was like, "You know what? I'm very offended that you just said that, Kirk." And everybody just kind of like stopped for a second, and he busted out laughing.
I've never seen Desmond Howard laugh so much on a college game day. He's normally so serious, but this is like.
Is Lee Corso just doing the head now? He's not. They just kind of bringing him on to do the mascot head, and then McAfee's going to kind of take over his role.
I mean, he usually takes breaks throughout the show. Like we see David Pollock come in on his set. I mean, he's getting old, and he had a stroke a couple of years back. So it's tough to see him, like that on television. So this might be like his final year of game day. Who knows? But yeah, Coach Corso is a living legend.
Yeah, maybe they'll just keep him with the mascot head, keep him out of the sun because I know it gets hot. I mean, the temperature in Austin was like 112 on the field. I think it was like 92 before the game, so it was a hot one. But they cut to one scene. They had a Texas fan chugging a beer out of his running shoe. I mean, that shoe was disgusting. It looked like he left the bar the night before in those shoes. And he cracks open a cold one, pours it in there, and then throws it back. So I got to ask Wade, what's the craziest thing you've ever drank a beer out of? Back from our college days, you've dabbled in some different types of beer luges.
No, I only drank Pepsi during college.
Oh, that's right.
Sure.
I'm starting a new job tomorrow, Chet. Come on, we don't know who's listening. No, yeah, I don't know. There's this one time where you couldn't bring it was anything but a cup, and me and my boy Cletus from South Carolina, we got these giant baby bottles from Party City, and they were like 60 ounces, and that thing was like full, constantly getting refilled, I guess, all through the night, and drinking it through the bottle attachment, so you can picture that, and I'll spare you the rest of the details, but yeah, I think that answers the question.
Yeah, well, that's a very graphic image that's in my head now. Wade drinking out of a huge baby
sippy
bottle.
Cup. Yeah, that's the word I want.
Yeah, his sippy cup with some natty lights.
Giant.
Those theme parties are always fun.
It's probably 40 ounces. 60 is an exaggeration, but
yeah,
like a big gulp.
Yeah, well, here's a 40-ounce water bottle right here.
Yeah, so that's about right.
Big old bottle of beer that Wade's chugging down. But so another cool thing that happened at College Game Day, they had the whole Texas men's golf team out there since they were the most recent national champions, and they brought out Scotty Scheffler. Everybody knows who Scotty Scheffler is in Austin, one of the a living legend now out of Texas. And they presented him with the PGA Player of the Year award. So I wanted to ask Futch, do you think Scotty was the right guy to win it, or do you think Rory should have taken it home?
No, I think Scotty was the right guy. I think overall success throughout the year, I think Scotty by far was the guy for it. Rory made a good run towards the end of the year, but from start to finish, I mean, if we really want to look at it start to finish, I think Scotty is the guy, and I think he might do that for a very long time. I mean, we could see him being 5-time Player of the Year, in 8 years or 9 years.
Yeah, I think He's
Yeah, I
just
think
on such a roll.
he's young. He's shown that he's talented. He can win any tournament out there, as long as he plays well for 4 days, and he can go back to back some weeks. I mean, so that's a plus for him.
Yeah, and the only other guy that was number 3 was Cam Smith, and I don't think anybody was giving Cam Smith the PGA Player of the
Yeah.
Year award now that he's
Not
over
when
on
you
the
go to
Live
live,
Golf
you're
Tour.
not.
Yeah,
Burn some bridges there.
I think if he would have stayed, he definitely would have made an argument for the win. But I mean, the way Scotty played this year, and just kind of bursting onto the scene, winning in Austin, winning what was that first one that he won? Oh, and Phoenix at the Waste Management, and then winning the Masters, obviously, and almost winning the championship. If he didn't hit that bad bunker shot, very good chance they could take that to a playoff, and who knows what happens. But I just thought it was pretty cool. I mean, he was totally surprised. He started, got emotional, obviously, tears coming out of his eyes. And I was like, that's a pretty cool way to announce it. The only thing that sucked was Rory was across the pond playing in a golf tournament. So imagine finding out middle of a golf tournament, hey Rory, you didn't win Player of the Year, but have fun playing in the European DP World Tour tournament. Just keep on going. I think that would have kind of messed with my head a little bit.
Is it strange? Is it strange that Scotty was more emotional about that than he was about winning the Masters? It's kind of weird, because there's for some strange reason every year there's a bet on whether the winner cries or not,
Yeah.
and he didn't, and it was okay, everybody thought, because he's a pretty emotional guy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, all right?
Right.
Real men cry.
Real men cry. Exactly.
How
Real
do you
men cry.
quantify that though? Do you have to get a certain volume of tears to
I think there's got to be a tear running down the cheek.
I don't think you have to fill a measurement.
A vial.
Yeah.
They got somebody out there with one of the previous green jacket winners is up underneath Scotty as he's walking.
There's some gray
catching
area
his
there,
tears.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about Augusta National. They do some crazy things there. I
You
wouldn't
can
be
bet on
surprised.
the coin toss, and that's pretty obvious. It's not going to
Yeah.
land on the side. But
You think, what if the winner, Scotty puts some money on it and he holds back the tears, or right before he takes it, he just jabs himself in the
then he's
eye.
gonna get Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. he might get caught like Calvin Ridley did. Who knows?
He's gonna get exported to the Live Tour.
Yeah, that's going to be the new thing. If you have a huge fine that you can't pay, or which obviously they can all pay, but something that's just unforgivable, they deport you to Live, and you play out the rest of your days winning at least 120 grand every tournament. Yeah, I think I'd be getting deported real quick. They win 120 grand each tournament guaranteed, so it wouldn't be a bad thing.
And it might shock some people listening to the show, but I feel like the 3 golfers that next year kind of will run the show, one of them is Scotty. I feel like the other 2 are up for grabs. I think it's potentially Tony Finau. I think he's one step away, and Cameron Young, I think, is another guy. He's right there, and he kind of lurks in the shadows. It's kind of weird. He's always in that top 10 spot when we get to that after that 3rd day. I mean, we saw him the second round of the
almost won it, at the Open, at the British Open. I mean, he's a rookie, isn't he?
Yeah, he was a PGA Tour rookie.
Yeah, so it was between him and Thagala all Rookie of the Year, and I'm pretty sure Cam Young's going to win that one just based on his performance this year. But I don't know about Tony Finau. I mean, he got hot at the end of the year, but I think somebody like Will Zalatoris, I mean, Tyler's guy, Willie Z, I think is definitely going to be a push in the next couple of years. So, Tyler, you think Willie Z is going to come back from his back injury and be rocking and rolling again, or is it going to take him some time?
I think he's going to have to knock off some rust coming off of that injury. I honestly agree with Jacob's top 3. I could see Tony Finau. I think he really ended the year off hot. So
we got him to agree.
Wow,
wait,
this is gonna be a TikTok pilot.
I like Tony Finau as well. So I think that's going to be your top 4 for next year for sure.
Yeah, and I think Rory's always going to be around. I mean, he's one of the best golfers in the world, obviously. But we'll see. I mean, he's playing right now on the DP World Tour. Golf doesn't really. I mean, the season starts in 2 weeks. But the like season, I mean, nobody really starts paying attention until the Masters. That's when all the big
Yeah.
names come out, and then you kind of start getting some of the bigger tournaments.
That's when I start paying attention is the Masters.
Yeah. I mean, we got the President's Cup coming up in 2 weeks, and I need to do some more research. And I told y'all before the show, but we can talk about it a little bit more next week, kind of preview it. But I mean, the USA's heavily favorited right now. They're at -500 to win, and it's probably going to move to -1,000. So, all you listeners out there, if you're looking to put a little money on the USA to win the President's Cup, I do it now before it's pretty much just an irrelevant bet.
I hope that Billy Horschel and Ian Poulter are matched up.
I want them to have a fight on the golf course.
Just because, like, I want to see them absolutely duke it out like some Happy Gilmore and Bob Barker, like just punching each other in the face.
I don't know if Wade and Tyler, if y'all saw this, but they had a video come out this week of them at the tournament on the putting course, and of course, Billy Horschel is very anti-live. I mean, he's almost as anti-live as Tyler is over here.
Oh, and that's a man I can get with.
Yeah, Ian Poulter. Also, Billy Horschel is just a psychopath. I mean, the stuff this man says, he's insane. But then you've got Ian Poulter, who obviously was one of the first guys to go to live. I'm glad he's there because his pants were just horrendous. He wore the worst pants on the PGA Tour. But there's no audio to the video, but they're visibly like screaming at each other and very animated with the hands. And I think that if they're paired up, like coming down the stretch and in the President's Cup, it's gonna. Well, I guess they can't be paired up on the President's Cup because Ian Poulter's gone to live. But in one of these future tournaments, the DP World Tour, it's gonna get a little feisty on there. So it's definitely something to follow.
Yeah, Ian Poulter's pants. I feel like the longitude and latitude. I feel like I look for my house on his pants sometimes.
They're just big plaid.
Yeah.
Oh, but we haven't talked about golf in a while on the show. So before we jump back to football, anybody play golf this weekend? I haven't asked y'all in a little while. We got 3 no's. I didn't even play. Well,
I went
got
to the
some new
simulator.
gloves. Yeah,
I
Wade,
went to the
Wade's
simulator.
got some clubs now.
Jeez.
Yeah, I haven't purchased them yet, but I think I am going to be the new owner of some Ping G425s.
Let's go.
And hit them pretty solid. After they did, some adjustments on the loft, club head placement and all that. But yeah, it felt good to swing some stiff shafts and just rocket the ball up the middle on the simulator at least. I don't know if that'll translate to the course, but felt pretty good to go over there and do that.
Well, you need to get those clubs so we can get another whack scheduled so we can take on these 2 guys again because we need a little bit of a redemption here. But I guess we can throw it to another one of our sponsors. Our golf talk was brought to you by Righteous Felon Beef Jerky. I don't know if you can see that clearly.
Proof in the pudding. It's there
Exactly.
in person.
I've got the Baby Blues Barbecue. It's a nice little bull on the front.
That doesn't sound very intense. You need the Reaper.
Well, this one's the sweet barbecue blend of habanero and serrano.
You can give us a live taste test right now.
Okay, I'll give you a live taste test. You got a little bit of ASMR going on.
Hey, give us the ASMR.
I ate I'll be honest with you. I ate the majority of the jerky, so there's only a little bit of
one
crumbs.
more wouldn't hurt.
I can tell it was open, though.
Yeah, I mean, I ate it before the show, but
So good that should have ate the whole bag.
I did eat the whole bag in one sitting. It's got a little bit of hint of habanero there at the end. It's what kind of gets you. But I mean, I ordered 3 bags. I got some turkey jerky. It's got like an oregano basil seasoning on it. It's pretty interesting. And the other bag I haven't opened yet, but it's one of the spicier ones. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll have it for next week's show. But I'll go ahead and throw up the discount code. If you go on over to righteousfelon.com, you can use code OCSN to get 15% off. And they actually do a thing. If you want more than 1 bag, you can order like the bundle, and they give you a little bit of a discount on that, and then you can use our promo code as well and get another 15% off. So we're all about saving money here at Sports Scramble. We're always trying to save money. We're always trying to win money with our parlays. It never works out. So that's why we got to save money and use some of these promo codes.
Just one.
Yeah, well, we'll kick it back to college football and the breaker of Jacob and Tyler's parlay. Alabama narrowly beating Texas in Austin 20-19 on a field goal with like 40 seconds left. Alabama struggled a lot offensively. Defense looked pretty solid. I mean, Texas looked great out of the gate, and Quinn Ewers gets hurt, and he's out, what, 4 to 6 weeks with a shoulder strain or something like that, Tyler?
Yeah, it was like a MCL joint sprain, something like that. But it was the same. Like the flashback. You know how they were doing on
The
college
habanero
game,
just hit me.
like back in like the 2009 national
Colt
championship game.
McCoy.
Colt McCoy got injured in the first quarter, and what happens again when they play Alabama? Quinn Ewers gets hurt in the first quarter. I hate to say it, if Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt, I think Texas wins this game by at least 2 touchdowns.
They were
absolutely
rolling.
dominating them. Like
He was putting every pass
Yeah.
on the money, and I was shocked. I was like, okay, Bama, you ever going to show up and play?
yeah,
But in
I mean,
typical Alabama fashion, they get some calls their way, some penalties against Texas, and they end up driving down the field and kicking a field goal.
It wasn't a malicious play. I mean, it was just it was a throw and hit. I mean, it wasn't late. It wasn't, they threw a flag, and I think they reacted a little bit too much to what the crowd was like and how
Right.
he reacted,
yeah.
that he was injured. So I don't think a flag was warranted there. I mean, ultimately, Texas didn't punch the ball in there, and that if they punched the ball in there, I mean, who knows? They might hold on. It just, you never know. And it's unfortunate that something like that happens, but it is football. And I mean, we talked about all off season about how, or at least Texas talked about, who's going to be the starter? Is it going to be Quinn Ewers? Is it going to be Hudson Card? Who's it going to be? And I mean, Hudson Card had an opportunity to prove himself. What people don't realize is he played majority of that second half hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was limping around.
Bama was just teeing off on him.
Yeah. So, I mean, and at the end of the game there, Bama's driving down the field. I didn't understand why Texas let up on pressure. They were kind of letting Bama throw little check down passes. And that's the one thing I complain about in college football is that I saw it time and time again all weekend. These teams go down and they kick a field goal with 2 minutes or under 2 minutes remaining, and all of a sudden they start stepping back. We'll play 5 yards
playing
deeper.
prevent defense.
Yeah. I mean, why not go up and challenge them? Like, the chances of them beating you deep are slim to none. Most teams are not going to throw the ball deep in that stage. So, I mean, because if they don't complete it, they lose the game. I mean, they can throw a little check down all game long.
They had the entire game. They were pressuring Bryce Young. He didn't look like he won the Heisman last year. I mean, he looked like a mediocre quarterback. And then, like you said, they kick a field goal to go up. They start playing prevent defense, try to prevent the big play. Well, you prevented the win. I mean, you start. I know at the beginning of that drive they were bringing heat on him, and he was scrambling all over the place. And he was making great plays. He was making Heisman quarterback plays in the last 40 seconds of the game.
Yeah, his receivers weren't also helping him either. I mean, we going back to last year, like so many years. You had guys like Jalen Waddle and then Jamison Williams and John Mechie. Now you don't even have a guy like that anymore. I mean,
I didn't even recognize any of that.
Yeah, Burton there. I mean, their main receiver was Jahmyr Gibbs coming out of the backfield. He kind of reminded me of an Alvin Kamara type player. But, I mean, you got to give it to Bryce Young and what he did on that last drive. He really took over. And I knew that Texas lost that game. I mean, a minute 29 was just too much time for this Bama offense. And, hey, you got to give it to Alabama's kicker, Will Reichert. He nailed that thing. And they called timeout, too, and he pretty much, banged it in from like 2 for 2, unlike some of these NFL kickers.
The thing
Bama's never had a kicker.
Yeah,
they got one.
It's been a problem for them for several years.
He didn't miss a single field goal last year.
Yeah, and potentially Bama isn't in field goal range. Had that corner that come down to blitz.
Yeah,
caught in the tackle on Bryce Young in the backfield.
So close.
Texas didn't miss a tackle all game long. Yeah. I mean, they were piling.
Missed the one that mattered, though.
The one that mattered at the very end. I mean, that would have put them way outside of field goal range, and there's no way. I mean, granted, Alabama had one timeout left, but if you up the pressure like that and you just sack Bryce Young, I mean, you take a lot of what Alabama can do out of their playbook, and you might win at that. I mean, that's the one play. I can't say that makes the ultimate difference, and that's what turns that L into a W. But it very well could have been a turning play there late to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, I was sitting in a sports bar there was a lot of Texas fans around me, and of course they were all woo hooting and hollering when they kicked that field goal. We're gonna win the game. There's only a minute 20 seconds left. I was like, guys, y'all don't know Alabama like I do. they're going to drive down the field, and they're going to kick a field goal, and they're going to get out of here with a win.
Mhm.
Something's going to happen, and Bama's going to drive down there, and they're going to win the game. It happens all the time. And sure enough, that's what happened. I felt bad for him. I really did. And at that point, our parlay of them covering the spread was out the window. I was hoping Texas was going to knock them off because I wanted to see someone take them down. But I mean, the way they played, they looked slow. I figured they'd come out of the second half and just blow the doors off them because I knew Nick Saban was going to get a hold of them. But it didn't happen, and they waited until the last 40 seconds. Bryce Young drove down the field. They trusted their kicker, which was a shocker. Like I said, they finally have a kicker. So that lost them a lot of games in the previous. Well, I say a lot. I lost them some big games in the previous years, but they got their kicker now, and he put that one through the uprights. But I wanted to ask. Go ahead, Jacob.
One thing. Let me tell you, if Alabama plays like that the rest of the season, they're going to get exposed. So
Oh yeah, for
they're going
sure.
to lose to Tennessee. They're going to lose to. They probably would lose to Ole Miss.
They're probably going to lose to LSU. Let's be real.
Yeah, if
Yeah, way to
LSU
slip
plays
that
like
one in
they
there.
did.
The one opponent that they would get exposed to is Arkansas. Right
Arkansas
now.
looks pretty.
Yeah. I mean, Alabama could be a 2 or 3 loss team at the end of the year if they keep playing like that.
Yeah.
We've basically seen that their receivers struggle in big games. They can't hold on to the ball for some reason. Butterfingers over there, but yeah, ultimately we could see Alabama get exposed in years to come. I mean, Texas and Oklahoma are going to join the party here soon,
Mhm.
and recruits are going to start going other places in the SEC. Hey, when's our chance? Alabama's had their time. Now
Right.
it's our time. And that was kind of Texas. That was their motto going in. I mean, that's why they nailed all these big recruits. Like Bijan Robinson, that guy was a nobody at one point, and turns out, he is Texas's offense. So,
Right.
I mean, it very well could be a turning point in college football right now. And Alabama could be a team sitting 4 or 5 come 12-team playoff and have to
Yeah.
play a first round game.
Yeah, they may not be one of those teams that's locked into that first round bye. I wanted to ask, with how they played this week, do y'all think that it was just a hiccup? They go to Austin, it's super loud. Will Anderson said it was the loudest stadium he's ever played in, but I guess he hasn't played in a full Death Valley or a full Tennessee stadium, anything like that. He's a junior, so he had his freshman year was COVID year. Last year was still a little iffy. So he'll. I think that some of these SEC stadiums will definitely take down what he heard this weekend. But do you think with the way they played this weekend, was it just a hiccup in the road, or is SEC West wide open to a new team?
I think it's open. I think Arkansas, as Tyler said, seems to be the early season darling. They've taken care of business. Offense looks like it's moving quite well, and defensively, I think they'll do just enough. I wouldn't bet against Alabama quite yet, though. I mean, they kind of got their wake up call without getting a loss, which is about all you can ask for. So, Nick
Best
Saban
thing
was
that could
very
have happened to
upset,
him.
and he's going to get those guys turned around. But, as Jacob said, maybe the talent's just not there as it usually is, and maybe they are susceptible to a loss or two. Tennessee looks really good on the East, and they will have to play on the road against Tennessee. We found out Texas A&M might not be all they were cracked up to be preseason. Mississippi State's kind of a team that I underestimated, and I think that they could find a groove. And Ole Miss, we know that offense is going to be pretty elite. So it's as even as it's ever been. And, LSU doesn't have a conference loss either, so they shouldn't, sulk or
That's
anything.
true.
So
I mean, with the way they played this, I know we played Southern, but with the way they played this week, I've got high hopes going into next week. With what Jaden Daniels just looked posed, the offensive line played a lot better. But we'll get into our LSU breakdown here in a few minutes. But I saw a meme on Twitter that said, "Come Monday morning at the Alabama football facility." It was a 18-wheeler vehicle transport car, and it had a bunch of Dodge Challengers, Chargers, Porsches all lined up on it. And it was like Nick Saban's going to be taking all their cars, and they're taking them back to the dealership because these things ain't being used anymore. Tyler, host of Southeastern Sports Talk, our SEC show. What do you think? Alabama is releasing their control of the SEC West?
Well, I just think going back to Saturday's game, this was like the most uncharacteristic I've seen this team. They had like 13 penalties and over 100 yards of penalties. Nick Saban is about to tear their butts into
They're going to be
what
running for
this
days.
weekend. But good thing they get a tune-up game this weekend against Louisiana Monroe, because I think they definitely need to work out some kinks. And like Will Anderson, like didn't even have that great of a game. Like I don't even think the announcers Gus Johnson even said his name at all. I think the only time they said it was when he went off sides like 3 or 4 times. It was just very uncharacteristic play from one of the best college players. So hopefully this wakes them up. So yeah, they're going to have Arkansas on the road coming here in the next couple of weeks. So they get Vanderbilt to open up SEC play, which they should win that very handily. But yeah, I think that Arkansas and Mississippi State are the two top teams in the West right now. I know that Mississippi State has a very tough schedule, but that offense can beat anyone. I just think that their defense is veteran bunch. And Arkansas, Cincinnati and South Carolina to open up the season, and they beat South Carolina pretty handily. I know that the score says 44-30, but Arkansas absolutely dominated that game. And then the East, I know that Kentucky, man, this is a team that, is now.
As soon as we give up on them, they bring us right back in.
I never gave up. I never gave up on the boys in blue.
Yeah, this is now, like a number 9 ranked team. I'm still high on Tennessee in the East. I know that Georgia and like is pretty much the only team that hasn't really shown like any weaknesses. I don't know if Oregon was just a very bad team, so we'll have to see whenever Georgia opens up SEC play what they do. But I think the West right now is open, but like Wade said, you can't bet against Nick Saban quite yet.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree with that.
I don't think you can. Tell you to mention. Ole Miss is a team also that really hasn't had any problems yet.
Yeah,
Has played all
well,
out.
they haven't played anybody, so
blowout football. Yeah, but I'm saying their offense looks really good.
Yeah.
If I think their offense is more well-rounded than what Texas was. If they have a defense to put together, Ole Miss, statistically speaking, has never really had a defense, and it's always been big shootouts. I don't know if Alabama has the receivers this year to contend for big shootouts. So if that's what it comes down to, very well could be the game for the SEC West. That one or Alabama and Arkansas. That really could be.
And it's in Fayetteville.
Yeah, those are two big games that Alabama has to play, both of them on the road this year. So yeah,
Texas gave you the recipe to all the other SEC schools of how you beat this team. You beat this team going vertically. Quinn Ewers was taking deep shots in the first quarter. And that's how you beat Alabama. That's how you beat Alabama and Nick Saban the past years. And you also have to have a defense. This Texas defense, outplayed Alabama, and that does not happen very often. So I think their first, potential loss again can come in Arkansas and Fayetteville. I think that Arkansas's defense, especially with Bumper Poole in the middle, he's the middle linebacker for them, and they got some really good corners. They have Dwight McLaughlin, the LSU transfer, that played pretty good throughout the first 2 games. So I think that the SEC as a whole is wide open. I know that Georgia looked good, but I think that the East, Kentucky and Tennessee, don't count them out quite yet.
Yeah, and it's finally the SEC's. It's always good football, but it's typically Alabama goes to Arkansas, and it's just a routing of Arkansas.
45-0.
Yeah, but this year it's going to be something fun to watch.
Yeah.
And so if you want detailed analysis of all SEC football games, you can check out Tyler and Wade's show on Tuesday nights, Southeastern Sports Talk. Catch it on Facebook, Twitter, or our Twitter. We'll be broadcasting it Tuesday nights, 8:00. And you can ask the boys any questions there. They are the SEC masterminds. This kind of ties into one of the SEC games.
In us, Wade.
I believe.
I was saying that for myself.
Oh.
Tyler's the glue that holds us together. That and with Coast to Coast. So
there you go.
I don't know. Jacob can carry his own over there on that show.
Jacob knows everything else outside of the SEC. He's our
regional expert. We're regional experts. He's our national expert.
There you go. But yeah, going across the country, we had some big upsets this weekend in college football. You had Marshall take down number 8 Notre Dame pretty single-handedly. They kind of dominated that game the majority of the time. Washington State upset number 19 Wisconsin, and the one that I called, Appalachian State taking down number 6 Texas A&M. So what are your thoughts on a little chaos early on in the season, Jacob?
I like it. I enjoy it. I
Oh, I love the upsets. It's the best
Yeah.
thing to watch in football.
I kind of saw it coming, especially with Texas A&M. I'm so sick and tired of people talking. Will this finally shut people up where they
Maybe they'll
keep
quit
talking
going
about
there.
the number 1 recruiting class in the nation? And it's like, I'm sorry, but they still play like they're the 140th ranked team in the country. They're terrible. They played awful in a team that, you know, where most guys would be the second string for A&M, destroyed them on the line of scrimmage, and absolutely ran the show. I mean, they got to the quarterback constantly. I thought we would
What is
see
his name?
Max
Like King
Johnson.
Hayes or Hayes
Haynes
King,
King.
something like that?
Yeah, Haynes
Yeah,
King.
he only had
I
like
thought we
97 yards passing that game.
I thought
Mhm.
Max Johnson would make an appearance because he was awful. Haynes King was awful and just could
Could
not
have
get
told
rid
you
of the
that.
ball. Yeah, it was weird. So
I don't know if Max Johnson would have been any better against that
I'm
stout
just puzzled because
Appalachian
Appalachian
defense.
State went up like 500 yards to North Carolina. Like,
Appalachian State is that upset team. Every year, dating back to when they upset Michigan, like 15 years ago? Every year, there's a team that they come in and they just shock them. I mean, that's just what they do. I mean, they scored 40 points in the fourth quarter last week against North Carolina, and they didn't need to score 40 points this week, but they got the job done. And I was kind of happy to see Texas A&M get knocked down too, because that's all you hear about is how high and mighty Jimbo Fisher is in the number 1 recruiting class in the nation, because they paid every single one of those players millions of dollars, and they finally got kicked down some.
could you imagine that? Could you imagine if Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher both lost in week 2 of the regular season after they both threw hissy fits at each other all off season? That would have been karma at its finest.
It would have been absolute like carnage to the SEC West. So it wouldn't have been great. But Tyler, what do you think on Notre Dame getting beat by Marshall?
Man, Notre Dame's offense just looked inept once again. We saw their struggles against an Ohio State defense with Jim Knowles. I mean, Ohio State's defense when it was an up and down defense in 2021 with Jim Knowles. It was kind of, that first game, Notre Dame of Ohio State's defense. Is it going to be good enough to win the Big Ten and the college football playoff? It doesn't look like. We'll have to wait until they get into Big Ten play, because Tyler Buckner had like 2 picks, and one of them was a pick 6. And man, Marshall, Sun Belt, Fun Belt once
Thunder
again.
and Herd,
you have
baby.
App State beating Texas A&M, South Alabama. I know this was an upset, but they were 5-point underdog going to Central Michigan. They won 31-17 over there. And then, you had Marshall over Notre Dame as well. So, I mean, guess Notre Dame fans are going to have to wait for old Marcus Freeman, their beloved new head coach, to get their first, win. So I guess you're missing Brian Kelly, aren't you, Irish fans?
Yeah, they were all hating on
maybe.
Brian Kelly.
I mean, they've been taking shots at me, so I'm going to take right back. In Texas A&M, I saw a graphic. Kevin Sumlin and Jimbo Fisher has the same record, 35-16. So Aggie fans, enjoy another 7-5, 8-4 season.
Tyler hates his Aggies.
I do. I mean, I'm so over them. Like, all they're overhyped. Like, number 6 in the country for what? Their defense, and then you have offense out there of Haynes King, and you think you had like Desmond Howard pick them to win the national title. Well, I guess
Desmond Howard doesn't know what in the world. Who were his 4 that he picked? It was like
Texas
A&M.
I love the upsets, and I'm glad that College Game Day is going to Boone this weekend for App State Troy. Good for them.
everything's bigger in Texas except for the offense,
Yep.
So
Well, so yeah, you mentioned Troy. We saw Troy take down LSU a few years. We were at that game. Wade was also at I was a little worried, potential upset with all what's going on Saturday. LSU taking on Southern, first time in program history. Great for the city of Baton Rouge. Yeah, there was no chance of an upset.
The only upset was me getting upset at the concessions lady for taking 40 minutes to give me my food. And we scored like 30 points when I was on the line.
I wanted to get your takes on the game. First game in Death Valley this year. What were the vibes like? Was the crowd into it? How long did you stay? Did you leave after the first quarter? What was going on?
No, the crowd was definitely in it. pretty much. I mean, they said it was a sellout, which I guess they sold all the tickets from the school. Probably, I would say over 90,000 people there. Some empty seats in the corners, and as you got in the upper deck, but the lower bowl was jam packed, and both teams really had a lot of spirit and fans, and it was cool to see. And once the game kicked off, literally on the first play, it was all LSU. But then when they got to halftime, there was a real good show. Southern is known for their band, so they did a performance. I thought it was impressive. They did a formation where they did the score at the halftime. So, there's no way to rehearse that. I mean, it wasn't a traditional score. It was 51.
That's kind of rough to make the team's band do.
I think they do that for every game.
So no, they do it. It's like one of their traditions. But,
yeah. Okay. But dang, they get routed out there. You got to go out there and put up a 51-0.
They might have tried 35-7 or 35-0. But 51, they had to kind of
you don't practice all of that. Yeah.
But it was a real good show, and then people started to leave after the show. But it was cool that the fans stuck around for that. And supported. We left after Nussmeier threw a backwards helicopter.
He looked like Max Johnson out there. He's been taking too many notes from Jacob Boy over at A&M.
I would say that that kind of puts Nussmeier in the doghouse. That would be one takeaway from the game. I mean, college football is a sport of 2 to 3 year spurts. So I don't think Brian Kelly would be hesitant to pull the red shirt on Walker Howard if he feels like he's the best chance we have at backup. I mean, you can't have a guy make that kind of pass, in a critical situation.
And I understand he's out there playing with the twos at that point, but still,
Southern had their backups in too. You can't do that.
He looked terrible. I think the whole quarterback battle, it may have been a real thing. I brought this up to a Big Mike. Actually, we were watching the game together. It's become a tradition now. We didn't go to the LSU bar to watch the game. He came to my house, so I think we're gonna have to watch it at my house every week from now on. But we, I mean, I'm a stereotypical LSU fan.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
He's already talked about this. Whenever we were in college, you moved couch from couch. Whenever we
exactly. If we're doing bad, I move from
the striped couch.
I wore the same jersey to every LSU game I went to in the 2019 season.
I washed it. Jamal Adams jersey.
My Jamal Adams jersey, I wore it to every single game in 2019.
What's his name?
Trey Palmer.
Jeremy Hill.
Oh, Jeremy Hill. I got it when Jamal was there, so it's Jamal Adams jersey. What we were saying was either obviously Miles Brennan didn't fit the scheme of the new offense. He's a slower quarterback, not a dual threat, especially with our lack of lack of experience in the offensive line. You need a mobile quarterback out there. But it really worries me that he was the third string behind Garrett Nussmeier because old G-Dog did not look very good.
Yeah, Nussmeier's got the wheels, but that's about it. He can sling it.
Yeah.
He had one really good pass to Neighbors.
Yeah, and I was happy to see Malik Neighbors bounce back after last week. So the man he held his chin up high and he went back out there and he made some big plays.
Oh, and I will say Boutte or Booty, as we call him.
That's what I was about to touch on.
He looked like a good teammate out there. I know that I didn't watch any of the TV footage, so that probably didn't pick up on it. But after a lot of the plays, especially the touchdowns, he was, celebrating, and they got him a little bit more involved in the offense as well. But he seemed like he embodied that number 7, being
right
a good teammate.
Yeah, he definitely bounced back from what he did last week, just body language wise, for sure. Wade, are we going to see you at any more LSU games going further?
Yeah, I got my season passes, kind of figured that out. So hopefully we can keep going to games this week against Mississippi State. Really looking forward to that. And maybe we can get you guys in town for something down the road.
Yeah, maybe we can get the Sports Scramble come in. We'll have the WAC Part 2 in Baton Rouge. We'll go play the LSU course. Really make it interesting. We might not want to video that one.
You don't want to play at Santa Maria?
Okay, I'd rather Santa Maria. I give you
Okay,
that.
me
I
too.
know they opened up the
Go
Bluffs
to
again.
Dumas.
They were working on that, or Dumas was a good one. There's a lot of good courses in Baton Rouge, a lot better than the LSU.
We could play
course.
Beaver Creek.
Yeah, that would be fun too. We played
City
on a
Park,
Friday evening.
baby.
Yeah, City Park, play a little 9-hole course. Jacob will probably drive
Jacob
the
would
green on
probably
every
hole
hole.
out on
That could
every
be the
hole.
Friday night round, at
Yeah.
4:00.
Yeah, so we'll have to make a trip down there this season to get another round in.
I'll be there
Since
for plenty of games. I'll be there for plenty
Yeah,
of games.
Jacob has good seats, by the way. He's sitting over there quiet while we're all talking LSU. He's got a good deal.
Yeah, I got a good little deal. So yeah, I'm sitting on the opposite side of the student section. So like on the other end zone. So it's nice. Yeah, I like going to the games. I'm not your stereotypical LSU fan. I was kind of adopted in. So
he's not your diehard bleeds purple and gold.
Hey, this is a
like the
big
majority
week
of
for
us do.
you. You get to play the SEC, with Auburn. They're not that
yeah,
great.
so I thought about going to the game, and I said, well, Auburn's not that far away. I said it's a 4.5 hour drive. I said, why not? And I went to go buy tickets, and tickets to sit in the Penn State visitors area, which are normally the cheaper tickets because hey, all these people got to come and travel, and they're
Right,
kind
it's a far trip from Pennsylvania.
tickets were $185 a piece. I said there is no way that I'm driving 4.5 hours to
You gotta get a hotel room in Auburn.
get a hotel
That's
room.
like a $400 trip right there.
Easy.
Hey, that's what I want
That's
my
a lot
Alabama
more than
tickets for.
$400.
Yeah, yeah. So there's just no way I'm gonna do something like that. I'm glad I have the weekend off or the Saturday off at least. So I'll watch the game. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good. I think it's time. The one thing I guess I'll talk about Penn State for a second.
I was about to say we'll give you your
Penn State
30
corner.
seconds allotted for the Penn State football.
My spotlight.
The We Are corner.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is what's going to happen going forward now that you're playing teams like Auburn, and now you're going to get into Big Ten play after true Big Ten play at least. I think the biggest thing is who's going to be a good running back. Penn State hasn't had a dominant running back since Barkley left, so and it's been a number of years. So I think it's time. I think Nick Singleton is the guy to step up. He was on fire against Ohio, breaking off a 70-yard touchdown run, and has crazy wheels for as small as he is. He's so fast, and I think it's good that he gets touches. I know Penn State likes to play a little two running back system, but I think going forward, I think he's going to be the primary back. And the biggest thing is they need to get the running game, going against Auburn. You can't be one-dimensional against that team. I know they haven't played anybody yet, and they've hung up a 40 spot twice. But I think that Penn State is the more well-rounded team. And stopping Tank Bigsby is going to be the biggest thing. He's still there. I thought he was gone, but no, he's still there.
He's been there for a while.
That guy's a truck, by the way. So I think
He's a tank. You missed a good opportunity.
His name is literally Tank Bigsby there, Fletch. You
Sorry.
missed the opportunity.
missed the opportunity.
We
Thanks
can cut the audio and put it back in.
Yeah, well,
Redo
I'll
it.
just dub over Tank instead of truck.
No, I do think that if Penn State wants to win this game, and the biggest thing is Sean Clifford. I feel like he's the big guy for Penn State, and if he doesn't prove himself, people are crying wolf that it's time for the freshman, and he proved that he can throw the ball and sling it with the best of them against Ohio. I know it wasn't top competition, but I mean throwing 50-yard touchdown passes, making it look like nothing is pretty impressive from an 18-year-old kid at the college level.
Yeah, so I think Penn State Auburn's going to be a good game. They played last year, didn't they?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's a whole.
That's close.
Yeah. Well, now you got TJ Finley as your
you got TJ Finley to work with now.
We'll see.
Keep in mind, TJ Finley has as many interceptions as Sean Clifford, and Sean Clifford has as many interceptions as TJ Finley has touchdowns. So TJ Finley has 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions on the year, and Sean Clifford has 4 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Oh, that's a little interesting fact there from our Penn State.
Right.
But I'm going to start a new segment since I've dubbed myself as the upset specialist, and I'll give my upset pick, and I'll get a see if y'all agree with me. But this new upset specialist segment is brought to you by Norse Beards. You can head on over to norsebeards.com, enter promo code OCS, 25% off all your beardsman needs. I actually got my beard oil I've been talking about for weeks. Got it in last week, been using it. The beard's looking nice. It gives it a nice shine when you apply it before going out. I see Futch has got a little bit of stubble growing there since Penn State hasn't lost. We'll see if he keeps it for next week. Tyler's rocking the stash and the goatee. Wade just does
doing
whatever
the
he
same
wants.
thing.
Wade's got a clean shave tomorrow morning. You know, we got to see what
Yeah,
the new
exactly. Wade's got the new job he's starting.
Yeah,
He's got to
new
look
corporate
nice
policy.
and fresh. Yeah. So, but if you head on over to norsebeards.com, use our promo code, get you 25% off. They got all sorts of scented flavor stuff. I just got the plain old original. My face, last time I used it, a scented beard oil, it kind of got all itchy, and I was like, I got to try this stuff first. Got the original, no smell to it, so I can, just put it on and get it nice and clean. They have like a beard wash and all that stuff. I just use soap, but I'll probably start using a beard wash to get it nice and soft and fluffy there. Maybe I'll be looking like a Viking by the end of the season.
High society.
Exactly. I mean, LSU is going to win out the rest of the year, so I'm not going to shave my beard either. And come Christmas time, I'm going to be looking like Santa Claus, using this Norse beard to make it nice and soft and shiny. But so my upset specialist pick. This is who I'm putting on upset alert. We got NC State taking on Texas Tech. Texas Tech just upset number 25 Houston, and they stormed the field, tore down the goalpost. The plate Lubbock burnt to the ground because they upset Houston. I mean, it was insane.
What?
Yes, they stormed the field and tore down both goalposts.
Both, yeah.
I mean, it was crazy.
I thought that was the little brother school.
Well, typically it is, but Houston has been good the past few years. And NASCAR Neal was in Lubbock. I'm surprised he's still alive. He made it out alive out of that town because, I mean, it's a big oil town. They were setting stuff on fire. It was crazy. I can't confirm or deny that. I don't know if they were setting stuff on fire. But they threw a party like all get out. And I think NC State has been struggling. They lost once already. And so I could see them losing to Texas Tech. They just had a big win. They got some momentum. Take it to NC State, upset them, and keep on rolling. What's y'all's thoughts on that?
I like it. I got another one here.
Okay, what's Tyler's upset?
I'm going to the Big Ten. I'm going to put the Michigan State Spartans on upset alert this week. They're going to go all the way to Seattle, Washington to play Washington. And Michael Penix Jr. is the Huskies quarterback. And he has a lot of experience against these Big Ten schools. So, I mean, Michigan State, they played Akron and Western Michigan, their first two ones. Washington played like Kent State and some no-namers as well. So they both played a couple of cupcakes. But I think that Washington, as a quarterback this year, they got absolutely drubbed last year on the road in the Big House. But, I mean, this is one of the craziest environments in all of college football. It gets very loud at Husky Stadium with, the little awnings on both sides. So I think that Washington gets it done and upsets number 11 Michigan State. Washington's the favorite, but in the rankings, this would be an upset.
Yeah, in the rankings, it would be an upset.
Yeah.
Futch, do you agree as you're our Big Ten correspondent?
Yes. Yeah. I think, Michigan State's just, I don't know. I don't think they're all there this year.
Yeah.
Mel Tucker's had his moment in East Lansing. I think it's time for reality to kick in, and I don't think Michigan State can play in anything other than the snow or 25-mile-an-hour winds at home. So if that's not the case, and it's not going to snow, I know that much. I don't think they're going to have a great season. And they might very well be a team to lose on the road in Seattle. That's a tough place to play.
So, Wade, what's the name of your volleyball team?
Served Hot.
I think Served Hot is putting whoever they're playing on upset alert tomorrow night. Served Hot is coming in hot, and Wade is going to be
upset specialist himself.
Upset specialist is predicting that Served Hot gets their first dub tomorrow night. So there's our upset segments for the week. You head on over to norsebeards.com, enter promo code OCS for 25% off your beardsman needs. I didn't even ask you, Wade, did you have an upset this week, or you just?
No, I was going to let you skip over it. I hadn't done my homework.
That's okay. Well, your upset is your volleyball team.
I got
Yes.
one for you, and you're going to think
Okay,
I'm
what you
nuts
got,
and
Futz?
crazy about it, by the way.
Oh gosh.
LSU upset Mississippi State?
I think I might know
totally
who it
agree.
is.
Well, who do you think it is, Tyler?
I don't know if you're going to go this big, but are you going to go with the Gamecocks at home against Georgia?
No.
Nope. Not that big? All right. Well,
I
thought
like
you were gonna
that
go bold.
Well,
I like
yes.
that one.
And people are going to be pissed, I think, about this, but I'm going to pick Fresno State to go against USC.
I was looking
in
at that.
Pasadena.
I don't know. I don't know about that one. USC is looking pretty
Fresno's
good.
hung up 20. Well, Fresno's hung up 35 in the last 2 games. USC's the 12.5 at home. At least it's going to be a close game, and maybe Fresno State can pull it out.
All right. Well,
I'd like
while
to
we're
see it.
picking on Houston for, I guess, setting the town of Lubbock on fire with their loss, how about 2-0 Kansas going on the road to Houston,
Kansas is 2-0?
upsetting them?
Oh,
You think Houston's going to drop 2 back-to-back?
Yes.
If they do that, Houston's going to
I
go
like
on fire,
that
especially
pick.
to Kansas.
I
I'm going
like
to be able
that
to get out of my
pick, Wade.
house.
Kansas went on the road and beat West
Ruston
Virginia.
and the Jayhawks. I mean, yeah, they look pretty
I would
good.
imagine the
against West
Jayhawks
Virginia.
will be double-digit dogs.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. You got Texas Tech upset NC State, Kansas upsetting Houston, Fresno State upsetting USC, and Tyler, I don't remember what you said. So go ahead.
Washington over Michigan State, sir.
Washington over Michigan State. So if
not an
we
upset.
get off, if
Yes,
we
it
get one
is.
of them,
No.
in the polls-
That is not an upset.
How is that not an
Washington-
upset?
Washington's
Michigan State's
the
ranked.
favorite at home.
They're ranked.
Yeah,
They're
but-
literally
but
almost in the
Washington's
top
not-
10. How is that not an okay?
no, I agree with Tyler on this one. That's an upset.
I know that they're the
If it's
No,
one
ranked.
no.
favorite, but I mean that's nothing really. That's not even a favor. That's just like
About
a
time
pick'em
y'all
game.
disagreed on something this show. I thought we were all
I
going to be
know.
happy.
I know
go
he was
lucky.
just going to bring up something. He can't go one show without disagreeing with me.
There's your TikTok content, Wade.
But I mean, yeah, I mean it would be an upset in the rankings. I mean,
I agree with that one. I think it's an upset. But
it
hey,
would like
if one of those
completely
teams,
like turn over like the Big Ten East. If
Do you
Michigan
want to
State-
talk about the rankings for a second? Why is Michigan?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go ahead. You know what? We
Why
didn't
is
put.
Michigan State ranked number
here we
11?
go.
I
From
mean,
last season holdover.
yeah.
Yeah, Mel
That's
Tucker.
terrible.
He's got his
I like
team
the idea of
committed.
releasing the polls like end of September, like week 4 or 5 of the season, and then
Let
kinda
everybody
like
play
they
a
do
few
with
conference
the playoff
games.
rankings. They don't release
Yeah.
those till later in the year. You know,
I don't think the polls should matter at all until the playoff rankings.
I guess
in
they
reality,
don't.
they
In
don't.
theory,
Yeah. Well, here's what I was getting at. If one of these teams upsets somebody, one of y'all has to buy some Norse Beards oil, and we got to get some listeners get some Norse Beards oil so y'all can see the soft beard I got on my face. Okay.
Is it whoever doesn't upset or whoever does upset?
Whoever's pick doesn't get an upset, somebody's got to buy some beard
they have to
oil.
shave their head, get a buzz cut, and use
No.
Norse
And then they
beard
have to
oil
use the beard oil on their head.
until it
No,
grows back.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, because all 4 of us are going to be bald next show.
Well, let's just say the least one is Fresno State against USC.
I don't know. I kind of like that one. It's kind of shocking.
I don't.
Nobody
I
expects it.
mean, they lost to Oregon State just now. I mean,
Yeah, but Oregon
Hey,
State's
they're
They got
going up
nothing to
against
lose.
like Caleb Williams and USC who just put up like 42 on
Oh,
Stanford.
he followed his
Ah,
dad to USC to play football. Congratulations.
well, he goes to where he wants to win a national championship, where it's easy.
They
It's
ain't
the
gonna win no
Pac-12.
national championship. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
They
there's
better
no
do it
easiest
quick
route
before
there.
they move.
Yeah.
True.
So, next little segment we've got on the show, we asked last week for listeners to submit some questions, and we got a question from our most loyal listener, Mr. Matthew Melanson. He asked, it's about punting. Is punting technically a defensive play because the purpose is to give yards to the other team? On a punt, you're trying to defend your end zone by giving up 4th down to give the other team worse yardage. So in hindsight, is that a defensive play on the football field, or would you still count that as an offensive play? Wade, what do you think?
I think it's defensive, just kind of in the nature of, you're like you said, you're sacrificing a down that you could go for it by changing field position. So it's like a defensive strategy. Obviously it's got its own category, special teams, but if you had to pick between offensive and defensive, definitely more of a defensive weapon because you're giving yourself a chance on defense to play better. hopefully you don't have your back up against the wall where the team's starting close in scoring position.
Right. Tyler, is punting a defensive or offensive play?
I think it's a defensive play, especially if you cross midfield and you're out of field goal range, so you like punt it from like your opponent's like 45, and the objective what you're trying to do is you're trying to flip the field, trying to change the possession. So you're trying to pin them deep and set up your defense, to set up a potential safety if they get a sack, or it's very tough for an offense to breathe and get a first down, because even if they don't get a first down, your offense is once again setting themselves up for another great field position.
Futch, what do you think?
You guys want me to stir the pot or no?
Yeah, I'll let you stir the pot.
Start the
Give me a
argument.
reason why
I
it's
think
an
I pretty much
offensive
hit it
play.
on the head. So if you disagree with me, then
Let's stir the pot.
No,
Punting is an offensive play. I think it's an
you should
offensive
go
play.
for it on all 4 downs.
Exactly.
Well,
Punters shouldn't
I was
even
gonna say-
exist.
I was going to say that it's defensive in nature. I think it can turn into an offensive play, as we've seen multiple times.
they can do a fake punt.
It was for Florida State.
A fake punt and run 10 yards past the line of scrimmage and then decide you want to punt it. Then, I mean,
Yeah, like that
you
one
could do
guy
that.
at South Carolina
I
State.
mean, that's also an option. So, no, I think it's defensive in nature. It has offensive perks because, like you said, Tyler said, if you do pin somebody deep, like at the 1 yard line, and you end up getting a safety. I mean, ultimately, that's what you want to do is pin somebody deep, and you can't tell me that a defense does not get fired up if they tackle somebody in the end zone and get a safety. I mean, that's like the
Texas did. They just didn't. The officials didn't get it right.
Yeah, so I think that it can turn into offensive perks at the end of the day, because if you pin somebody in deep, they might be punting from their own 5 yard line then, and then you basically get the ball in their territory either way. So
Yeah, it's kind of like an offensive attack. Like you're not going to be able to throw and get the first down, so you kick it as far as you can deep, so you're still advancing the ball.
that
I
is
think
if you trust your
more
defense.
of a hybrid.
Well, your defense, can let up a 99-yard drive in a heartbeat.
Right.
How about this for punting? All right, so the Bengals tried their damnedest to win the game today, and it just wasn't happening. So it was 4th and 16. They're at the 50-yard line. And I know we're going to talk about some more special teams gaffes here in a second, but after all that, they had the ball at the 50-yard line, 4th and 16. Really no chance at a field goal. And they decided to bring out the punter, basically hoping that the Steelers wouldn't go down the field and score in the final minute and win the game like they did. I didn't like the Bengals' approach to play for the tie. Like, why not let Joe go for it and give yourself a chance to win? But they deliberately punted as a defensive strategy, and it backfired because Pittsburgh went down the field and won the game.
I
don't like to play for the tie there.
But I can't blame them.
I think you just roll out Evan McPherson in hopes that he nails like a 60-plus yard field.
They had the backup long snapper.
Well, yeah. You got to trust him at some point.
That's what this question was kind of getting to was, week 1 NFL football, we had some crazy finishes, especially with special teams. The kickers must have taken off the entire summer in preseason because they were missing field goals left and right. But like Wade said, this happened twice today. You had the Steelers and the Bengals playing for the tie, and it ended up backfiring against the Bengals, and Pittsburgh drove down a field goal to win the game. Then you had the Texans and the Colts. The Texans had a real shot. The Colts, Rodrigo Blankenship, freaking sliced a ball 40 yards to the right of the field goal post, nowhere near it. And the Texans get a chance to go down and score, and it's 4th down. There's like 10 seconds left, and they punt it. Just step back and throw the ball and hope for the best.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah, they played for a tie, and it was like that's just stupid.
That's why I think they need to get rid of the tie.
Make them keep playing. I mean, go into another overtime half.
Yeah, and then make it 7-10.
But the Texans aren't 0-1.
They're
0-1. They're 0-1.
I feel like there's a tie week 1 like every year.
Well, it's crazy because you've had 2 games going to overtime because the kickers missed field goals. And Tyler, you take it from here because I'm about to sneeze. So you keep going with the NFL talk.
Sure.
Well, we had the Tennessee Titans and the New York Giants pretty much end up in the same thing. the Tennessee Titans. Actually, I'll go backwards here. The Giants actually scored. They went for 2, so they were up 21-20. So Ryan Tannehill.
Saquon had a heck of a
Yeah,
game. I think he
Saquon
had like
looked like
175
Saquon
rushing
of
yards.
old. Yeah. So going back to that, Ryan Tannehill drove down the field, and then they bring out Randy Bullock. Here comes the hero, and then he shanks it to the left. So it was just not a good day for the kickers, unless you're Will Lutz, who nailed like a 51-yard field goal
to win the game.
And Cade York.
And Cade York,
York
58-yard field goal
boy.
too. So
yeah,
kickers had some positives, but it was a lot of negatives in week one. So there might be some kickers who get cut this week.
Yeah. Me and you were sitting here talking while we're watching the game. Watching it in the Saints game. Of course, Will Lutz missed one earlier in the game, and we were like, oh, that's going to cost us. But he nails this one through the uprights. Great. And then it goes to, on my side, it went to Houston versus Colts. Well, Rodrigo misses the kick. They lose the game. Yeah. And Tennessee and
New York.
Help me out. New York. They missed the kick. They lose the game. And then you got Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. They were missing kicks left and right.
Mostly Cincinnati.
Yeah, and then Pittsburgh ends up winning the game. I feel like there was one more that happened. Came down to the last second.
Well, based off of Cade York won the game on
right. He made the kick and then won the game.
But it brings up that in the NFL you only have a 53-man roster. Then you have to make 3 guys inactive. So you're playing with 50 guys come Sunday afternoon. And, it's not like college where you have some walk-on soccer player that, is a 4-string kicker.
80 yards, yeah.
You have backups at these positions. So teams have, maybe an emergency kicker or punter in place. But have you ever thought to have an emergency long snapper? I mean, you would think they would just roll out the center and go from there. But the Bengals, that was the situation they found themselves in.
Yeah,
and they had to use their backup tight end, and it was awful.
You'd think the center would be the one most equipped to tell him, hey, snap it like he's in shotgun.
Yeah, but I guess there's a strategy to it or whatever. But Kansas City did think a little bit ahead, and Justin Reed is their starting free safety. And we've seen him kind of kick it in preseason games, exhibition games, practice, whatever, kind of a, viral sensation. But today, Harrison Butker briefly left the game. And Eric Reed made the extra point, stayed on the field to kick it off, and then stayed on the field again to play at safety. So
that
was pretty cool. I texted our special teams expert on
do you get the points for field goals?
Yeah, about an all-around team player there.
He just needed a pick 6 and then kick the PAT on his own. That would have been elite.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. I mean, shout out Butker, rolls his ankle and then comes out and nails a 52-yarder on a bum leg to go into halftime. So he probably just got a nice little shot of adrenaline, went out there and just booted that thing through the upright.
But Matt said he loved the NFL today because he noticed this stuff, and he's Mr. Special Teams. So
he's a big kicker. He drafts 3 kickers in fantasy football. So
special teams matters.
Yes.
What was one of y'all's favorite games today? I know, obviously the Saints because we're all Saints fans, but I mean I liked that. It was Baker's revenge tour, and they ended up losing to the Browns on the last second.
He did all he could, though.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Saints, Tyler? They looked a little slow, but they picked it up there at the end.
Oh, they look very awful on both sides of the ball. I mean, outside of that Taysom Hill touchdown drive, the Saints were very inept on the offensive side. But whenever, Atlanta, the Falcons blew it again. They were up 26-10 with 11 minutes to go in the third quarter, and then famous Jameis himself, turns on the light. And
I thought he was getting taken out of the game there for a little bit. He was walking towards the locker room.
You got to trust the quarterback that way. You can't go back.
No, I mean, just out for injury because he was kind of walking off the field.
Yeah, it was good to see, though, Michael Thomas back. He got 2 touchdowns. It was a very slow start for him. But, yeah, this was a gritty win, a good comeback win as they'll host Tampa next weekend in the Dome.
Yeah, it was a good first win for Dennis Allen, and they'll give him some momentum with Tampa. Futch, your Pats didn't win today. What happened there?
No, I had a feeling that was going to be the case. They struggled against Miami when Brady was there, and they've never figured it out against Miami. I don't know what it is. That's the one team in their division they cannot figure
That
it out.
Miami Miracle, that's the one play that I remember.
Yeah, so it's one of those, but I think the best game of the day for me, the most eye-opening game, and it kind of shapes the future of the NFC, I think, and that's Minnesota and Green Bay today. I
Yeah,
think
for sure.
that is the big story now in the NFC. It doesn't matter what Aaron Rodgers does, they can't put up more than one touchdown. And their best receiving player was a running back in AJ Dillon.
Yep.
Five receptions for 46 yards. Five reception for 46 yards. That's your best receiver. That's sad. Not to mention Aaron Rodgers got lit up in that game. I want to try to find that and send that to you. He got smashed.
Well, he was taking all those psychedelics before the game. He couldn't see the rushers coming at him.
Hey, they did this last year too, and then they rattled off
Yeah.
like 12 wins.
He got
Well-
sandwiched so hard, and he just laid on the ground, and I was like, "Is he dead?" I was like, I didn't know what was going on, and he kind of sat up really quick, and I don't even know if he knew where he was for a split second.
Well, and another thing, the Vikings have been so close, but their defense has kind of held them back, and they went and made a bunch of signed a bunch of guys on defense this year in the offseason. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them make a run later in the postseason. But like Wade said, it's week one. The Saints routed the Packers last year, week one, and look what the Packers ended up doing. But I do agree with you. They don't have Devontae Adams. They don't have like any wide receivers. Not much on the offense besides Aaron Rodgers. So it should be interesting going forward.
Yeah, and credit to Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson. I mean, Kirk Cousins had 277 yards passing. 184 of those yards went to Justin Jefferson today. So that's what's crazy.
Jettas, baby. That's
I
why you
mean,
take him
nobody's-
number 3.
but I don't think anybody's going to figure it out this year. I mean, I guess, I mean, it's only the first game of the year, but Minnesota has something that nobody else in the NFL has. They have basically what Aaron Rodgers had for a number of years with Devontae Adams. It's a flip script now in that division. I'm not going to say Kirk Cousins is the new Aaron Rodgers because he's not, but he's
a good enough quarterback to put the ball where it needs to go.
And he is, to win a game. Yeah. And I think that's what it is. It's going to be those three guys there, Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, and Justin Jefferson, are going to be the three people that carry that team. And they might make the playoffs this year.
I'd like to see Megan. I'd like to see Jay Jettas get up there and get himself a ring. We've had an hour and 20 minutes on the live show so far. Kind of wrap it up here in the next few minutes. I've got a update from NASCAR Neil. I guess he did survive the carnage in Lubbock this weekend. He made it out alive to actually catch the NASCAR game. He told me Bubba Wallace won today at Kansas. It's been a while since Bubba Wallace has been in the headlines. He's for the second week in a row, a non-playoff driver has won a playoff race. And only Christopher Bell has clinched a spot in the round of 12 on points today as we go to Bristol for the last race of the round of 16. And then kind of outside the playoff news, Kyle Busch is set to join RCR next year after a crazy season of speculation on where he would drive next year. He's leaving Joe Gibbs Racing and the 18 after winning 2 championships with the team. So a little mix up there in the NASCAR world. So stay tuned for next week's NASCAR Neil Take. Y'all got anything else on your mind pressing you want to get off on the show?
Yes. I hate Kyle Busch, by the way.
Oh, the NASCAR heat.
I hate Kyle Busch.
So are you happy that he's leaving his team? Maybe you'll root for him after that?
No, I'm not going to root for him. I'm just happy he's leaving. Is he leaving Toyota or is he just leaving? I don't know if RCR is. I don't know. Toyota or not.
It all
That's
depends
We'll
on
have
the team.
that's definitely a Neil question. So, but yeah, I just don't like him. The only thing good was the peanut M&Ms on the car. That was about it.
Did he get like
M&Ms
14
are very
DUIs?
underrated.
Yes, they are very underrated.
I don't know about the DUIs, but it would be interesting if one of those was on the NASCAR
Professional driver.
Oh, yeah. Golly.
No, peanut M&Ms have got to be one of the most underrated candies, in my opinion. Before we end
Oh,
the
it's
show,
like
what's
the
your
best
favorite?
one.
We'll go favorite candies. Tyler, what do you got?
Skittles.
Skittles, okay, Marshawn Lynch. Wade, favorite candy. What are we talking here?
Gotta go Reese's overall, but peanut M&Ms very close.
Fletcher, you going peanut M&Ms?
No, I'm not going to be it. So
I
I
might
have this thing. So this is a thing. I have this thing. People buy me like Twix bars from different countries.
Huh.
And yeah,
You're
so
a connoisseur.
yeah,
He's a Twix collector.
so the best one I've had is from Belgium so far. I currently have a white Twix in my fridge right now that I'm hesitant to eat.
Ooh, it's a cold one too. Cold Twix bars are a move.
Yeah,
Same with like Kit Kats.
yeah. So it's good. I like them. The worst one I've had was Egypt. That one just didn't taste like chocolate. So
It's like sand.
Might not have been.
I don't think
the pyramid.
I really
Ooh,
don't
what's
think
happening in the NFL back there, Tyler? What
Well,
we
Mike
got?
Evans just scored a touchdown to put the Bucks up 18-3.
Live updates: 18-3. Bucks
Here, I don't know if the viewers can see this the score. On their
Hey, that might be copyright.
Let's
Tyler.
see if
Yeah, we don't have the rights to the video.
We don't. Yeah, but so you're going with Twix?
Twix.
Fudge? Okay, mine is between Milky Way and Twix.
What?
Since you went Twix, I gotta go Milky Way.
Okay.
Milky
All
Way
right,
is just
you
like
can have all my leftover Halloween candy.
Let's go.
You know,
Want
kind of
the,
a dark horse that a lot of people don't think about. There's this one candy bar. It's like a foot long, Charleston Chew. You probably know
Okay.
about it, Wade.
We're gonna have that at our wedding because a little taste of Charleston. So
Yeah, I'm a big Charleston Chew guy.
Really?
pretty cool.
It's a good. It's
Huh.
good like toffee, like chewy candy.
That's a bold take.
Let us know. Yeah, are you going to argue about
We could
Charleston
just have
Chew?
our show on candies.
Let us know your favorite candies in the comment sections. Send us a question on Spotify if you like Twix better or peanut M&Ms. Let us know. But yeah, that kind of wraps up the show this week. First week of NFL football, second week of college football. We're going to have some longer shows because we got a lot of games going on, a lot of drama, a lot of upsets. Hopefully we have 4 upsets next week and nobody has to shave their head. But you can find all of us at Sports Scramble 4 on Twitter. We go live, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We just started a Facebook page. Tyler's running that. So we all got our own little thing going on. We got Wade on the TikTok, Tyler on the Facebook. Jacob's pointing down at something. I don't know what he's talking about. I probably should put it in on a ticker so everybody can see it, but I don't have it preset. I do have our sponsors. So thanks out Buffalo Bayou Brewing Company. We got NorthSpirits.com, Righteous Felon, and of course Logaroo for your custom jersey needs. If you head on over to let me show it, logaroo.co and hit up Colin, let him know that we sent you. He'll hit you up with some custom jerseys, shirts, hats, the whole shebang. But you can find our other 2 shows tomorrow. You'll hear Jacob and Tyler's lovely voices doing college football coast to coast Monday at 3:00 doing live, and you can catch them on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that fun stuff afterwards. And then Tuesday night, Facebook, Tyler and Wade, Southeast Sports Talk. You can you'll hear from your upset specialist on his upset picks this week too. So, but we appreciate everybody watching. We hope you all have a wonderful week, and we'll catch you next time.